Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Spinning Plates. First up today we have, is this a normal working experience? Am I just overreacting as a naive cook? I love cats and sciences. That's the username. I also like those things. Got hired at an expensive and popular restaurant marketed toward rich foreigners taking a vacation in Turkey. Assumed this would be a different experience because it's catered to foreigners with an open kitchen. Got immediately hired during my interview. I've only worked 2 days in this job, by the way. I came straight out of uni and started on my shift between 5 and 6 p.m. and left at midnight. They said that'll be my schedule 6 days a week, with Monday being off because I literally can't come due to classes. They expect me to come at 7 a.m. in the weekends with minimum wage. The chef constantly made fun of how I act and talk. I'm a bit on the anxious side in general, but it gets to a point, man. Saw a lot of bugs both in the pantry and in the back kitchen. One time I couldn't find jars, asked where they were, and discovered a totally closed-off room in the basement, flooded with water and trash. The chef turned around and asked me if I was scared of bugs, and man, I really don't want to have to go to that room ever again. The locker room is also extremely dirty and has a broken toilet with old pee so potent the entire room smells like ammonia. They told me to cut the vegetables in the same board we used all day for raw meat and fish. Ooh. I was expected to handle raw fish, then make a salad, then clean the raw meat board with the same rag I wiped the entire kitchen with. Then handle raw ground meat, then dip my hand in the fresh produce used in the burgers, then grab bread, etc. The list just goes on, without wearing gloves or washing my hands. The kitchen is so cross-contaminated to the point one E. coli sample will literally cause every single person to get infected. I also, for some reason, have to study and find recipes outside of work hours. Right now it's hard to find recipes to 4 different cold appetizers for 80 people and write it down step by step. Assigned me 2 workshops the same day they hired me, and told me the boss wants their employees to work with them a minimum of 2 years. This all happened in 2 days. I don't know how they expect me to do... Now you know how you get hired so quickly they can't keep the staff. I don't know how they expect me to do those hours while still going to university. Got this job via someone in my uni referring me to them, and the chef constantly tells me to not let it affect my studies. The only upside is that I'm a totally new cook and they're willing to train me in almost all aspects. The training falls on other line cooks, by the way. I'm literally a responsibility on them. I don't know if I'm just overreacting, like this is just 2 days. I didn't even make it to a full week. Is this just how it is in the kitchen industry? Is this normal? Am I just a naive young cook expecting too much? Is it any different abroad? I'd love to hear more from other chefs. I thought about just quitting before it gets real, but this is a really popular and expensive restaurant, plus a gig I probably couldn't find myself. And it's only been 2 days, man. Also, with the hygiene, is that like normal? No, it's not normal, it's disgusting. Yeah, you can't follow 100%. You can, actually. But is it normal to literally smother raw meat juices all over the kitchen, or have 7+ days old salmon that smelled so bad I had to move away as salmon tartare? Small update. I did end up quitting. Good choice. Though for some reason they specifically asked me to come in on Sunday to sign paperwork, then told me accounting didn't work on Sundays, so I had to come in the day later. Don't know if they were messing with me or not, honestly. When we came in, they pushed my friend out, and we were all paranoid about it, which I did find a bit weird. So yeah, thank you to everyone that responded. I of course don't expect these places to follow every rule in the book, but the state of this restaurant really made me question myself. Thank you to everyone for reaffirming my thoughts about it. Story number 2 today is My Manager Bullied Me for Months by Lily123. I worked in this restaurant. It is a sports bar as well. The owner was a formal and very famous football player. This was my first serving job, and first time being around people for a very long time due to a personal situation. So when I started working there, I was anxious every day, but did my best to do my best as I learned. I was hated on for a while because of my looks. A lot of guests would compliment me, call me beautiful, all these things. I also am very kind, which a lot of people thought I was faking, because many people are used to fake, or people putting on a mask that speaks more of them, quite frankly. One of those people who felt that way, and used other people as her minions to try to get me out of my character, was my manager. As I started progressing, and felt more comfortable being myself, she would find any small thing to pull me into the office for. She would write me up for things that were not even remotely important. I became very confident in my skills and my serving, guests truly loved me, my co-workers started to have a change of heart towards me too, after months of being low-key bullied by them. My manager became angry at this. She didn't want anyone to talk to me or be close to me. I always helped everyone too. I took great care of my guests, bussed my tables, and helped others bus theirs because we also didn't have a busser. After that, it's like I started a chain reaction because people were starting to help each other out. My manager couldn't stand that I was causing the atmosphere of the environment to change. I'm also a believer in Christ, not religious, but I have my personal relationship with God. She hated that too. She would have every manager watching me like a hawk. She would make comments about me in our team meetings every morning. I could do everything right, but if I make one small, simple mistake, she'd pull me into the office. She also would make up lies about the situation. She would lie and said I was doing one thing, when I knew I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. She would tell me, "You don't always follow the rules. You can fool everyone else, but I see straight through you." After months of being lied on and monitored, I enjoyed my work. I'd show up early and help set up for the day. My last shift I worked 7 days straight. The day went by beautifully. I was exhausted but excited because I was going out of town. I made a small mistake with a guest order. She wanted a different blend of salad, talked to the chef, and everything was fine. I also accidentally rang in an extra drink by mistake, which I paid for because she always says I'm costing them money, which is very untrue. She also has pictures taken of everyone doing their job throughout the shift, places microphones all over the restaurant. Check the laws in your state. I'm not sure that's legal. It'll vary by state. She wanted to hear and know everything that was going on. Nothing, and I mean nothing, got past her. So yeah, after my shift, she pulled me in and told me that I wasn't fit to be a server, and that she was taking me off the schedule. I was shocked and completely taken aback. I didn't argue with her, but I told her I felt differently. When I would speak up for myself, she would get angry. Well, bullies generally do, they don't like it when you fight back. I didn't give her the reaction she wanted. She thought I wasn't who I said I was. She had all these people in on sabotaging me when I first started. She had people believing in her lies about me. But when her lies stopped adding up, when people saw the real me, when people saw my heart and not how I look, it revealed that she was the hater. She couldn't take it anymore. So she let go of me because of pride. Not to mention, at least 20 people left this job in the last 2 months. I showed up every shift, never called out, nothing. It felt more like a dictatorship rather than her being a manager. I've never dealt with someone like her. I picked up shifts, but she declined them all except for today. But I decided not to go. Good choice. I don't want to show up to a place where I'm not welcomed. Just my kindness alone changed so many people's hearts. I did what I was there to do, and my manager couldn't stand the fact that she didn't scare me, that I am who I say I am, a bright light in this dark world. I hope she learns from this. She can't control and manipulate people. She can't make people be who she believes them to be. I am in the works of finding other serving jobs, and trusting that God has better for me. I'm gonna miss my co-workers because they were the first people out of all the jobs I had that made me feel seen and heard. I've gained bonds that I believe will last a lifetime. Also, my regulars told me that she denied a homeless person food. I actually saw this man. He was selling paintings for food, and she declined him. I didn't know that he was homeless until the next day when I served them. She is the most diabolical human being I've ever met. Third story today is anonymous. This takes place when I was 20, working summer jobs while living with my parents to pay for college. I was already working full-time as a waiter at a very fun restaurant that I really enjoyed, but I wanted to make a little extra money, so I got a job as a host at another restaurant. We'll call it Sapphire Wednesdays. I knew immediately that the place was mismanaged, mostly cued in by the manager having a beer at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday during my interview. But my responsibilities as a host were very easy. Seat customers, inform servers, sweep the floor near the front. I had already been working in restaurants since I was 16, so my training was over in about an hour. About a week after I was hired, sometime after lunch but before dinner rush, there was a car accident in front of the store. A car was sideswiped by a semi and run into a telephone pole on a busy suburban road. I told the server to call 911 and sprinted out and across the parking lot to check on the car. Thankfully, the woman in the car was shaken but fine. The truck driver was out of his truck and on the phone with 911, and other drivers had stopped as well. A very nice moment of humanity from folks on their way home from work. I decided that everything was being handled as best as possible, so I went back into the restaurant. I walked back in to find the manager standing at the empty host stand in front of a nearby empty dining room asking, "Where did you go?" "There was an accident. I went out to make sure everyone was okay." Manager asks, "Why did you feel the need to do that?" "I don't know, jackass, because I'm a human." After a brief back and forth, the manager says he has to write me up for abandoning post. I was too confused and angry to argue, so I told him that was fine. He then reminded me that one more write-up within my first month means I'd be fired. I went home and explained all this to my dad, who was laughing through his anger, and suggested I quit and just focus on the other job. I decided he was right. But I hatched a plan. Rather than quit, I showed up an hour late to my next shift that the same manager worked. This happened to be Friday night during dinner, and I was the only host scheduled. The manager was furious that he had to get out of the office to do actual work, so when I walked in he saw me and immediately began berating me. I asked if I was going to get written up for this, to which he replied in front of a crowd of customers, I might add, "You bet you're getting written up," albeit with more colorful metaphors. "Oh no, I guess I'm fired then. See ya." I went home and drank whiskey, with an E, and smoked a cigar with my dad on the back porch to celebrate. Story number 4 today is Constant Stealing and Lying Normal in Nightclubs. No. By Cheriella. I've been a server for 3 years, but my current job is my first ever nightclub. I've adjusted pretty quickly for the most part. As you can see, I'm posting this at 6 a.m. You can't, but no, you know. My new bedtime. It is literally every single shift that I get customers who will do anything it takes to not pay their bill. I know I technically shouldn't care, but guess what I receive when this happens? Big fat donut. I'll just go ahead and give a quick list of examples that pretty much happen with myself and all of my coworkers every single shift I work. Of course, you got people who throw back their entire drink like a shot and then say, "I didn't like it, I want it taken off the bill, and I want a new one." Then you respond by saying people in hell want ice water, go suck a dick. I always give them what they want because it's what my manager says, and it's a 50-50 chance that they're happy with that. Everything goes fine, everyone's happy, and then we get to the end and I present the final check. All of a sudden, people are giggling over something and someone says, "I'm gonna need to speak to your manager." Then they will say, "I never ordered 4 strawberry lemon drops with Don Julio Reposado, and the server is rude, and I hated the 5 drinks I did order." I'm always like, what the hell? I I always keep a card on file, but no matter how busy it gets, I don't feel comfortable with people leaving my site without paying their bill, because people have been known to lock their cards. This is much worse for the bartenders and the servers. Speaking of tabs, I can get customers who will say, "Fine, if I have to give you a card to start a tab, I'm giving you one with no money on it." The system won't even allow me to do that. My manager has told the entire team to only use the chip on the card, never tap, because apparently it is so often that people report the charges as fraud on Monday. Apparently, when we use the chip, the bank is more likely to reject their claims that they were never even at the club. I don't know why. When I was new, the other servers told me to be very careful because we use Toast handhelds, and customers have been known to black out the card payment screen. Press the cash button, then smile and walk away. I'll notice that someone who was going to the bathroom is suddenly suspiciously close to the exit, and very kindly ask them if they would like to close out so they can move to the dance floor or something. I don't make accusations, and they'll say, "I'm just going out for a smoke. I'll pay the bill when I come back." Then it's this race where I have to charge the card I keep on file before they can lock it. Obviously, these people never come back. When people are put on a minimum, we have a very short contract we have them sign. One of the rules is that if they don't hit the minimum, they will still be charged that amount. Everything is explained to them before they even get into the club. When I try to sell things to them, like a bottle, they will then tell me that they have no clue what I'm talking about, and they do not plan on hitting even half of the minimum. Idiotas. Unfortunately, my manager takes the customer side every single time. Your manager has no spine. I hear they're working on that, though. Transplants any day now. All that work, just for the check to be comped, all for nothing. And I'll even get a talking to and asked if I am actually sure they ordered 4 Fireball Old Fashions. Yeah, buddy, I'm sure. I was horrified the entire time. I swear I'm not rude. I couldn't blame you if you were, dealing with these tossers. I've never had that type of reputation with the customers at my other jobs. But all of a sudden, when the bill comes, the smiling stops and I'm rude. So is this all normal for a nightclub? I've never experienced this behavior at any other serving job. I'd like to know because my job has countless other problems, and if so, this will be my last nightclub ever. And the 5th and final story today is anonymous. I had a sextop working in the evenings this week of early 20s that I thought was going well. Their bill was $180, and it was my last table, so I was trying to do everything I could. I brought them drink refills before their glasses were empty, checked back on both first food bites and first drink sips. I don't know, it might be excessive to check if a Dr. Pepper is okay. Depends what country you're in. It tastes like butts in the UK now. But maybe there was something wrong with the soda flavoring, I don't know. Point is, when it comes to food and waste, I make sure it's okay. I don't want someone to sit there drinking or eating something they hate. Well, it might depend on the customer, surely. Some of them deserve it. And if they do, it's their fault. When I took their orders, they even commented on how no one else had shown them a visual temperature guide for their steaks before. Again, I do this because I want to ensure there's no misunderstandings, and that we like the food we're eating. When I delivered the steaks, I asked them to cut into the meat and let me know if there was a problem. Another server was with me passing out the food and confirmed that he heard me ask them to tell me. I stayed and made sure they confirmed they were all right with their steaks. I took note of what the kitchen forgot on the ticket. The mistakes were on the tray my coworker brought. I didn't double-check his, only mine. Had the 2 mistakes immediately addressed, thus another check-in and opportunity to tell me what they thought of the food. They said they were fine, so I left to take care of my other tables. I did walk-bys to check in, of course. I checked in again towards the end of the evening. Now it's time for boxes and deciding how to handle the check. They decide 6 ways, so I split up the check while they're boxing their food. As soon as the checks are in their hands, everyone had a complaint about their food. Everyone. The complaints were as follows. The steaks were all burnt, apparently. She wanted a well-done steak, but she thought it was implied it'd have a tiny bit of pink after we both looked at the visual of a well-done steak, and chose that. She told my manager she picked medium well, actually. But I always read back the temperature, and the description, well done, no pink. Her friend even joked about how there'd be no flavor. Friend's an idiot. 3. They waited over an hour for their food. Timestamps prove less than 25 minutes to make medium well and well done steaks. That's pretty standard. 4. I inform them we can either remake it or replace it. But since they had eaten over half the dinner and had boxed up the rest, we couldn't comp their food. Thank goodness. Shouldn't even have remade it, though. No remakes. Cattle prods. Yes. I encouraged something to go to take with them, but they didn't want to wait anymore, so I sent my manager to reiterate exactly what I had just said. My manager was working with contractors, so they waited pretty much the same amount of time it would have been for a remake. 5. They all claimed to work in the service industry. Nope. And would have never treated their customers like this. And my manager thankfully backed me up every step of the way with printed timestamps, my order taken and delivered to the kitchen. Y'all are gonna have to start wearing body cameras, I feel. 6. Behind my back, they were asking different servers for boxes of bread. I didn't realize this, but they probably got about 20 rolls for free to go. And to top it all off, they stole our ketchup bottle and steak sauce off the table. Called the police. None of the horrible food was left behind either, not even a crumb. And of course I wasn't tipped on their $180 bill. I need Olive Garden, Darden restaurants to stop comping food that's over halfway eaten and taken to go with them. I don't know where else they learned this audacity. And to be clear, we did not comp their bill. They said they wouldn't be back once it was confirmed we weren't comping anything. Thank goodness, so they'll be back. Wait and see. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you very much to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for my Patreon page for $1 a month or more. We do a pay what you feel thing, and you get early access to the videos on Monday all at once. You can also get yourself some merchandise on the Hellfreezer merchandise store, also linked down in the description. It's very exciting down there. You'll also find my Discord server and other social media links, including my email, which is kingofthecities@gmail.com, if you have any need to contact me, if you want a shout out, to send a story in, or any business-related inquiries. But that's me for now, so until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourselves.